What up, YouTube? It's the one and only legend of winning, aka Low, and we're here with another second channel banger. We're midway through the NBA season. It's time to start talking about some of these teams. More importantly, the ones that need to be in panic, dog. Make some trades ASAP because I'm bored. I need some more videos to upload on this channel. First team on the block are the Golden State Warriors. As I record this video, they have a record of 22-22, and they are on the brink of slightly missing the playoffs, but possibly not. Who knows? The Western Conference is still wide open. If they do miss the playoffs, they'll be the third team in NBA history to go from winning a championship to out of the playoffs in the following year. The only other two teams that were able to do this are the 1970 Boston Celtics and the 1999 Chicago Bulls. However, in both of those situations, it was very understandable because Bill Russell and Sam Jones retired, and same with Michael Jordan. The rest of the Chicago Bulls team played for basically another roster. However, when it comes to the Warriors, it will not be understandable whatsoever. This team is virtually the same from last year, and what's even crazier is that Curry's playing some of the best basketball of his career. Wiggins is just as good as he was last year. Klay Thompson has been available all season long, and Draymond, even though there might be a slight regression, is still really good. And the numbers back this up as well. The starting five, including Kevon Looney, their numbers are through the roof, net rating, offensive rating especially, but there still is a problem. So what's going on? First, to be fair to the Warriors, both Curry and Wiggins have missed a good handful of games so far this season, so there's a problem. Klay and Draymond also aren't the same Klay and Draymond. To be fair to Klay, though, I know you Warrior fans are gonna go run down my throat. Recently, he's been playing better, but for the most part, Klay and Draymond have not been the same Klay and Draymond. But the biggest reason why this team is struggling has a lot to do with their bench and young players not being as good as advertised. In particular, James Wiseman, who is 2 years away from being 2 years away. It's kind of tough for you boys out there. You banked on that second overall pick. Also, Jordan Poole has seen some regression, is also a negative defensively. And then Kuminga, he has his games, but a lot of up and down. If you are the Golden State Warriors looking to trade Wiseman and maybe some other young players for a team like San Antonio, Utah, shout out to that Jay Rich and Jakob trade package I think they should go for, all that should be on the table, because if you are some of these young players, if you're not able to be complementary pieces alongside this unit, with Curry still being as great as he is and the window of opportunity being open longer than expected, then I highly doubt that they'll be prepared to take over this franchise when Curry really starts to decline. On the panic scale, I'm gonna give them a light 6. The reason why is because the Western Conference is still wide open. I don't think they're gonna miss the playoffs, but it is pretty concerning that they're going from a championship caliber team to potentially a first round exit just because the pieces around him are not adequate enough. And also the reason why I'm going to give him a light 6 and not anything higher is because I think a lot of these changes are fixable, and once more, Klay is playing much better than he did before. So yeah, there's that. Number 2, we have the Chicago Bulls. Chicago is in a very drastic and dire situation, mainly because they have really no options moving forward, and on top of that, they have no draft picks at all. It's tough. As I record this video, they have a record in 20-24. Offensively, Vucevic, DeMar, and LaVine more or less have been playing as good as you would expect them to play, and yet offensively, they're still mediocre. And on the defensive side of the floor, they just do not have the personnel to be an adequate defensive unit, especially since Lonzo is basically going to be sidelined for the entire year, which is also a problem. But the biggest reason why the Bulls are on this list is, like I stated earlier, because they don't really have any options moving forward. 2 years ago, in the state of panic, the Bulls decided to make some hefty, and I do mean hefty, commitments to go get some personnel to potentially push the team forward in the right direction, and in the process they lost a lot of draft capital. The transaction that I'm talking about was to obtain Vucevic and DeMar, and in the process they lost 3 first-round picks as well as Wendell Carter Jr. So even if you weren't to be optimistic about this team potentially restructuring the roster around LaVine, that doesn't seem like that's possible either, because there are rumors claiming that LaVine is fed up and he wants out sometime soon. But wait, there's more. Lonzo is also still dealing with injuries as well, so that's been a consistent theme throughout his career. So more than likely, you're not going to receive what you thought you could get back in return for someone like Lonzo. The Chicago Bulls are a complete mess. 3 first-round picks shipped off for a team that has a ceiling of a first-round exit and right now is struggling to make the play-in. I'm going to give the Chicago Bulls a strong 9 on the panic scale, because if you are a Chicago Bulls fan, I do not know how you sleep at night. Oh, man. Sorry, Kenny. Sorry, Ash. Oh, he's Rusty? Sorry, Rusty, man. I'm sorry, dog. Sorry, Mike Krzyzema. Oh my God. I'm sorry, dog. I'm sorry, man. How about this? We'll play fair. Up next, we have the Lakers, my team, and my goodness, they are trash. As I record this video, the Lakers have a record of 20-24, and on both sides of the floor, they are straight dog shit. Partially is because the slow start from LeBron early on the season, and also Anthony Davis has been missing a good portion of the season as well, dealing with an injury. And as I record this video, there's finally been an update on Anthony Davis after being out for an entire month of basketball, and it seems as if like he's not even going to be back until February. Tough. Not only that, there's also been several injuries throughout the entire roster. Austin Reeves, Lonnie Walker. I can't believe that some of these players are very pivotal pieces to this team's success, but yes, that is true. We actually need Lonnie Walker and Austin Reeves to make some difference out there for the Lakers, but I digress. Regardless though, even when everyone was healthy and AD was back, the Lakers still had a record of like 11-16, so it's not as if like these injuries, they definitely play a part, but they were still a losing team when they had the players there. And the big reason why this is because this team and this franchise doesn't know how to build a competent unit. Too many guards, not enough wings, not enough bigs. But wait, it gets worse. After this season, nobody else is going to be on the roster outside of AD and LeBron. So all of the young players that we have on like very low contracts, Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder's not young, but we got him on a really good contract. Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, and Lonnie Walker, they are playing themselves into more money, which I don't know if the Lakers are going to give up that financial commitment. But wait, it's still worse, because after the following season, AD and LeBron are on player options and more than likely will exercise their right to hit the free agency market. The reason why I say it is because LeBron just recently has been on record saying that he wants to play with his son, and in the summer of 2024, that's when his son enters the league, so I'm pretty sure he's going to leave the Lakers. And I fear if LeBron leaves, then what is the point of Anthony Davis staying? I'm also going to give the Lakers a strong 9, bro. This team is a mess. It's a mess. It seems like the Lakers are like literally just 2 years away from being a rebuilding team. But luckily though, they do have some draft capital after I think this season. Now, moving on to the Clippers. Yes, I'm gonna make fun of the Clippers and make myself feel better as a Laker fan. The Clippers have a record of 23-22. Defensively, it seems actually really good, largely because of the switchability that this team has, especially with the small ball lineups that they run. The length, the size, the athleticism all favors them. And yeah, defensively, they're really good. The problem with this team is on the offensive end, they just suck. Part of the reason why this is because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have been in and out of lineup all season long, especially Kawhi. And even when Kawhi has been playing, he just hasn't been the same caliber player that he once was. To be fair to Kawhi and the Clipper fans, over the past 5 to 10 games, things have been a bit different, and he is coming into form. So we'll give him some time. But as of right now, midway through the season, yeah, he just hasn't looked the same at all. And the reason why all this is a problem is because the rest of the unit just doesn't have the personnel to be really good offensively. The lack of playmaking is certainly a problem. Of course, you do have Reggie Jackson and John Wall. However, their lack of playmaking really derives from their inability to be volume scorers or quality scorers. Because of this, defensive units just know where they're trying to get to, and there's very little manipulation behind this. This also translates to the lack of three-point shooting, because there's no quality three-point looks that are being generated for any of the supporting cast members, which normally then dissolves into just bad mid-range shots. Also, another problem with this team is that defensively, the lack of size inside is certainly a problem. For most teams, these small ball lineups really isn't a problem, but going up against Jokic, yeah, it's a problem, dog. Jokic's been torching his team for like the better part of like 2 or 3 years now, and that's tough, man. Go get somebody, go get a big. It's getting nasty, dog. But the biggest reason why this team is on this list is because how much money they've committed to a unit that is still floundering. I don't know if people notice, but the Clippers are at $191 million committed this year. Next year, they'll have $200 million committed to this team. And I don't think after that level of financial commitment, anybody can confidently say that this team is a championship unit. I'm going to give this team a 7 on the panic scale, largely because I just think that they just don't have the pieces, and I don't think they have the ability to go get the pieces. But the reason why it's not higher is because I do want to give them a fair chance, though, because of course Paul George and Kawhi Leonard had not been available all season long. So still trying to be fair. Up next, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Boy, there's a lot of Western Conference teams out here. As I record this video, I have a record in 22-23. Offensively, this team is struggling mightily, largely because Karl-Anthony Towns has missed a huge portion of the season, and even when he was playing, he was not the same three-point shooter he once was, possibly slow start. And also, their other volume scorer, Anthony Edwards, has been struggling to be a consistent and efficient volume scorer. But the biggest concern for the Minnesota Timberwolves has to be this defense, bro. There's no way, and I do mean there's no way, that you are a franchise who made the level of commitment that they did in the offseason, and we all know what I'm talking about right now. This is a team, bro, that traded too many, and I do mean too many draft picks to get Rudy Gobert just for their defense to still be mediocre. That's crazy. That's insanity. That's absurd. That is like so ass backwards. And what's even worse is that after doing all of that, this team is virtually in the exact same situation that they were last year. Literally last year, roughly around this time, they had a record of 22-22. They had the 10th best defense, and the 20th best offense. Virtually exactly where they are right now, like across the board. It is crazy. Also, bro, I just thought about it. I haven't heard any update on Karl-Anthony Towns. That's tough, dog. That's tough. Hey, that's tough, dog. Strong 10 on the panic scale, dog. No draft capital moving forward. Financially, this team is like way over their head on a team that is like basically a 500 ball club, and there's like very little room to improve moving forward with this unit. And it doesn't seem like there's that many suitors out there for D'Angelo Russell because he is on an expiring contract. This team is like in over its head. This is like by far the worst situation in the NBA. And then finally, we had the Atlanta Hawks. As I record this video, Atlanta has a record of 22-22. Defensively, this team has been slightly better than expected, especially with the time missed with Clint Capella. But offensively is where this team struggles the most, largely because Trae Young has been struggling early on this season with his long ball. The turnovers are still there as well. And even though I do like the production from DeJounte Murray, outside of a few games, it doesn't really feel like the fit between Murray and Trae has been as seamless as possible. I want to be fair though, again, players have been hurt. I do believe Clint Capella on this team makes the defense better than what they've been, but I just don't feel like this team can turn around so much so in the Eastern Conference that's way more competitive, especially the top 5, because I feel like that's very clear going to be set in stone moving forward. I don't think Atlanta's going to be able to crack the top 5. When it comes to Atlanta, however, there is like a much bigger problem that I'm actually very surprised and I know people are talking about. So like there's this like ongoing battle in the front office with Atlanta that it is mind-blowing to me how very few people are talking about this. So a few months ago or weeks ago, Trae Young and head coach Nick McMillan had a back and forth. That's now dissolved into this idea that Nick McMillan more than likely will lose his job because he's this is what people are saying, an old school coach dealing with these new school cats, and it's just not working out. The general manager, or at least the VP, lost his job, got demoted to just being an advisor. Then later it's been revealed, shout out to The Athletic, it's been later revealed that he could basically just move on and just go for another team. And to replace him, I cannot kid you, to replace him and who is now leading this front office is Landry Fields, who is an ex-NBA player. One of his buddies named Grant Liffman, who covered the Warriors as a media member. Nick Ressler, who is a 27-year-old son of the Hawks owner, Tony Ressler, the son of the owner. And then Ryan Silverstein, the team's coordinator of cap strategy and administrator, and a close friend of Nick Ressler's. That's who's running the franchise right now. The owner's son and his friend has a lot of influence in his front office. It's disgusting. This doesn't even take into consideration all the pieces and players that they gave up over the past like couple of months. Danilo Gallinari, Kevin Huerter, who's now out in Sacramento balling out of his mind. It's tough out here in Atlanta. I'm gonna give Atlanta Hawks a strong 7 to a light 8. The reason why I don't go higher is because they can turn it around a little bit. They can cement themselves back into the Eastern Conference because between the 6th and 9th seed, it's still fairly open. And I do believe Atlanta is a team that, as long as they get some momentum and stay relevant enough in the East, they can continue to convince themselves that they are just like one step away from being competitive. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell. I got a lot of videos to upload in the next day or two. So I will be uploading much more frequently on this channel. We back! And until next time, I'll see you all later. Peace.